Starting soon, folks. Starting soon. Hold on, folks. Having a problem. One second, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. What's up? I'm still learning this. Happy Friday. Tonight's drink is All Out by Athletic Brewing Company. No alcohol. Look how dark this stuff is. It's pitch black. Craft beer. They finally make good fake beer. Way good. Happy Friday, everybody. All right. Come on in, everybody. We got a cool show. Who do we got in here? Let me know if the sound is okay. Hey, from the UK. Cheers. Cheers, everybody. Steven, welcome. If you guys are new to this channel, do me a favor. Just hit that subscribe button. Trying to get to 1,000. It's starting to move quick. It's starting to go. It's creeping there. Cardone here. Welcome. It's my evening hour show. And we got people coming on in. Come on in. I got a story to tell tonight. Oh, cool. Thank you, William. I am getting a brand new mic tomorrow. I ordered, because of the donations, and your donations, anybody that donates, there's a link in the description. It goes right into the show. Because of donations, I've been able to get a bunch of cool things. I got a Blue Yeti microphone that did not work very well. It had so many glitches. After looking it up, I found out there really were a lot of glitches. It has little things, like if it's not being used, it would shut off. So I sent it back, and I'm getting a new one tomorrow that should work really well. So my sound quality is going to go way out the roof. And also, I've been doing research on video cameras, and I'm going to buy one, a really nice one. It's kind of complicated. I need one that has really good dynamic range, a pop-out screen, all sorts of little features. So I'm working on that now. Probably going to get a Sony. And that's your donations, everybody. Oh, I also got this. Look at this. My new bench. Super comfy. Great for learning tricks. For practicing magic. I can sit here and practice. What's up? Come on in, everybody. We got a great group in here. I see Jason, Eric, Steven, William. Welcome. One second. So tonight, I'm excited because I get to tell a story. I didn't practice telling this story. Again, a lot of these stories, I just open my mouth and let it roll. I lived it, and it's kind of easy to talk about them. There are details that pop out sometimes that I forgot about, or you'll see. I can't wait to tell the stories tonight. Alexander Ray, welcome. Come on in, buddy. How are you? Did you get that package? I hope you got it already. You should have got it already. Rick Sherman, come on in. Come on in the house. Where I got that fuzzy bench. Wailing Wizard. Fuzzy bench. Amazon. I love my fuzzy bench. Oh my god, I got so much to go through. First of all, last night I watched Erg, A Music War. Here, I'm going to put this on. The hand cam. Hi, hand cam. Do you know this movie? Erg, A Music War. You can get it on DVD for like $8. That movie changed my life. I used to rent it as a kid in the video store. No, Alexander, you can't say what it is. Shh. Let me finish before I talk about Erg, A Music War. Alexander donated to the show, and I said, if you donate $75 to the show, which he did, you will get a really cool present. Very unique, Very special. It was not easy to obtain what you get. Alexander got it, and I hope you're enjoying it. It's very simple, and yeah, it's pretty cool. And I do swear on my ancestors, what you got's real. It really is. It's the real deal. So anybody wants to donate $75, you will get a package in the mail of cool things. Back to the movie. I highly recommend this. Erg, A Music War. If you are a music fan, get this movie. It's like $8. It is a party in a box. Basically, all it is a concert movie. It's 2 hours of live footage of a bunch of bands, filmed by the same production team. Awesome sound, awesome visuals, really beautifully shot on film. And it goes from punk rock to new wave to reggae. It's all over the place. But the reason why I rented it as a kid, the Dead Kennedys are on it live. The Cramps are on it. The Surf Punks, Oingo Boingo. It's the first time I saw a video of Klaus Nomi. It's got Gary Newman, the Go-Go's. Awesome footage of the Police. Highly recommend it. If you're a music fan, I paid $8 for this. Highly recommend it. Check it out. Also, for those of you that like to burn incense, I know we have a lot of them in here. Alexander, I'll read your message in a second. If you like to burn incense, you see this? Fred Saul, resin on a stick, dragon's blood incense. Okay, so here's the deal. Most people don't realize this. I'm picky. I'm an incense snob. Most incense you buy is crapola. And I mean that, really. They get cheap incense and they put chemicals on it so that when you burn it, it has the aura of another scent. Maybe it's sandalwood as the base, and then they put, like, I don't know, strawberry or whatever the flavoring is. Boo. The real incense comes in resin form. So Fred Saul basically takes the resin and mounts it on the stick. And you got to keep it in the freezer. At least I do, to keep it. It won't drip. But here's why it's so great. I have been burned. Let me show you something. This incense stick right here has been burning for about 25-30 minutes. It's very hard to see. Here, let me use the hand cam again. This has been burning for about 25-30 minutes, and it only burned about that much. So it burns extremely slow. It's very strong, and I love it. Now, here's the only bad side. 10 sticks is about $14. You get what you pay for. This is the real deal. This is pure magic. Let me put it right here. Now, it also has a feature. If you set it on an ashtray that's metal or ceramic, when it hits the edge, it goes out. So you can time it. In the old days, they used to do that with candles in the house. They'd mark them, how many hours left and stuff. So anywho, I thought I'd share that with everybody. I'm an incense freak. I love burning incense. That's my favorite. Dragon's blood, the frankincense ones. Alexander says, has a place of honor in my collection. The story about it was great. Thanks again. Well, if you're wondering what Alexander got in the mail, you can figure it out if you watch my Transylvanian episode. It's called Transylvanian Adventure, Behind the Devil's Curtain, Episode 2. Which leads me to this. I got a lot of cool shows coming up, folks. How about this? Boom! Sunday, November 22nd. Boardgasm, Episode 10, Zombie Party. I'm going to be talking all things zombie. It's going to be zombie movies, but most importantly, zombie board games. I've got a bunch of them. I don't have them all. I don't collect zombie board games by any stretch of the word. I do like zombies. I do like zombie movies. And I like board games, so of course I have a bunch. But there's a lot I don't have. So I'm going to give you quick reviews of my favorites, why I like them, why I don't like them. I'm going to talk about the miniature games, dice games, all things zombie. That's Sunday night, so check it out. And then next week, Monday or Tuesday and Wednesday will be evening hours, and I got some cool stuff planned for that. And then next Friday, Black Friday, Behind the Devil's Curtain, Episode 4. And this one here, I'm really... do I have a picture for this yet? I don't think I do. Oh yeah. Well, this is the oh yeah, this is it. So this episode, I've been really doing a lot of research on. It's called Behind the Devil's Curtain, Episode 4, Dream Warriors. And if you are interested in anything about the dream world, lucid dreaming, sleep paralysis, all that stuff, that's what that episode's about. Oh, I'm also going to teach how to lucid dream and how to do self-hypnosis. I'm going to go over all of that. So if you have kids, it's an awesome episode for kids because I teach them how to fall asleep at night. Whenever I teach a magic class for kids, I always throw in a self-hypnosis episode. So you definitely want to check that out. What else? Wow. So much stuff here. And this is cool. I am working on my Magic Method Level 2. So I'm going to say it right now, and I don't want to keep saying this, but if you are on my list, anybody that donates $25 or more gets put on the list. That will enable you to unlock content. Right now, I'm going to lock in less than a week. I'm going to lock Magic Method 1. That's it. Locked. Once that's done, that's the way it is. When it's locked, you guys will get the link to it, so you can always go look at it. Magic Method 2 will be free. Anybody can watch it live. I'll probably leave it up for a few days, and then it gets locked again. I'm going to be teaching some cool stuff, and if we're lucky, I'll demonstrate some of the little things I'm going to be teaching in Level 2. It's definitely harder to do, but it's going to be fun. And then, get this, I've been working on this for, I don't know, 15, 20 years. I'm going to do a magic method just on the 3 cups and the 3 balls, which is considered to be the oldest magic trick in the world. The oldest recorded magic trick. The one that we have a record of someone talking about. The 3 cups and the 3 balls. I'm going to do a video on here live, a tutorial on how to do my version of the cups and balls. So if you're a magician, you're going to freak out. Because I'll tell you right now, my method is very different than almost all of them out there. I don't use a wand, and I only use 3 balls. There's no 4th ball. None. Ever. So if you've ever seen me do cups and balls, and you're like, wait, how does he do that? I don't have an extra ball. I'm able to show my hands empty the whole time. Little hint on how most people do it. Anywho, that is coming up too. I'm still working on how to compile that together to do it live. So I got lots of stuff working on. Here's my list. Anybody on the list, if you're on here, it's a $25 donation. You get put on the list, and your money goes back into the show for me to create more content and to buy new gear to make it look better. We got Max Heel, Wailing Wizard, Don Slater, Alexander Ray, I see you, Ian McDonald, Sean Bonner, Artiri, Mark Muggsy, Jimmy, and Fallon. Jimmy D, I believe, and Fallon. Thank you, everybody. You're on my list. These guys here all hooked it up. For those of you not on the list, the best thing you can do, and believe it or not, it's literally the greatest thing, is to subscribe, hit the notify bell, and tell your pals. That's it. All right, cool. Let's keep it moving. Oh my God, look at this. Here, you'll get a kick out of this. Again, anybody in here live, if you got questions, ask me. Throw it out there. This is an interactive show. That's why I do it live. I like doing them live. I don't like doing the pre-records. I'd much rather go and just hit it live. I was writing down my future episodes, and some of these are hilarious. One of the ways I brainstorm for the creative types out there, and I know a lot of you are out here, because I would say pretty much every single person right now watching this show that I know, or I know who you are, is the creative type. Daryl, what's up, brother? My process is, there's no bad ideas when you're brainstorming. You let it out. Even if it's a stupid idea, you write it down. Because maybe it's the piece to another puzzle. So when I'm writing down episode ideas, I just go nuts. So one of them was why I don't like Tarantino. I'm going to do a whole episode on why I don't like his movies, which is going to raise some hairs. I know. Watch Rick Sherman will say something about it. we have an ongoing debate on this one. I love it. I'm the kind of guy that likes to debate. I don't take personal offense if I'm in a debate, whether it be religion, politics, or movies or music. I like it. It's healthy because it gets me to reevaluate what I believe is what I like, you know? Hey, Libra Liz says, do you collect any unique glassware, like what you're drinking out of? Believe it or not, this belongs to this beautiful house that I live in. I own it with 2 other dudes. We call each other house husbands. Because we're like, this is the closest we're going to get to be married here, guys. There's 3 of us, and it's a massive house. It's really big. And this, believe it or not, belongs to the guy upstairs. He left it down here, and I use it all the time. I do collect mugs. I like coffee mugs. That's my favorite thing. I also have my grandmother's tea set that she got as a wedding present, and I use it. So I do like that kind of stuff. Somebody here said, I hated Once Upon a Hollywood Preach. All right, so Donna, you got to wait because I'm doing a whole episode on it. Wait. I'm going to rip it apart. Yeah, you'll dig it. I take offense to his stuff sometimes. I'm really just like irked by it. Anywho, well, that's a whole episode. I also wrote down, I'm going to do an episode on one of my favorite subjects that most people don't know about. It's something that is part of our legal system, something that used to be told to you, people knew about it. Now, not only do they not want you to know about it, if you tell somebody about it, you can get arrested. It's called jury nullification. Look it up. I'm going to do a whole episode on it. Something that I find very fascinating. Jury nullification. House husbands. Yeah, we are all house husbands here. Here we go. Yeah, I'm going to do an episode on that. I'm going to do an episode on the variety arts scene in New York City. Whether it be sideshow performers, burlesque performers, magicians, jugglers, acrobats, clowns, all of the above. I'm going to do a show on that and my experience in that world and also the nightclub world. I've performed in a lot of nightclubs, and I like it. I like performing in nightclubs because it keeps me on my toes. It's not easy. Ain't for the weak at heart, and for the performer that's not very good, you will get eaten alive in the nightclubs. And I really want to do a show on that one. Surf or Die, that's an episode. That's going to be on the surfing scene here. I live in a surf house. There are, 50 surfboards right over here. There's like surfboards and wax, and we all surf, and the beach is right here. I'm going to do an episode of that. And one of the best surf coaches in Rockaway Beach, where we live, lives on the 3rd floor. So I'm going to bring him in, and we're going to talk about surfing and how it changed my life and how it changes lives all the time. That's an episode. Tonight's episode. Wait till you hear it tonight. I'm getting goosebumps because I'm excited. Here's an episode. It might be on my Behind the Devil's Curtain. It's going to be called Why People Hate Magic. I'm going to talk about magic haters, people that don't like magic tricks. Some of it's cultural, some of it's ego. There's all sorts of things. And I've performed for so many different types of groups of people that I'm starting to formulate a theory on what it is and why and how to deal with it. Because I work in a pro world. If I have a group of people I don't like, I still have to make them have a good time. That's just the way it goes. Right now, I saw a bunch of people online, and this is, I don't go political on this kind of stuff, ever. I hate politics in this format. But I saw somebody post like, would you perform for a Donald Trump hotel or something like that? And people like, no, I already turned it down. And okay, and I think it's funny because I guarantee you those people saying that have worked for awful, horrible people people that they hate or they ignored that part of it. I guarantee it. And I work for everybody. I don't care who you are, what you are, where you're from. I don't care. I perform magic for all walks of life, okay? Even groups of people I don't agree with or I actually think are in the wrong. And here's why. I want everybody to sense wonder, even the goofball, even the jerk, because maybe through that little moment of wonder, he might not like who I am if he knew who I actually was, like the things I like to do and my hobbies. But maybe by seeing a little bit of magic, that spark of wonder might get that person to wake up a little bit and see things a little differently. You know, and that's how I've always worked and done my thing. I perform for all. I don't care if you're rich, poor, Republican, Democrat. I don't care. I've performed for a lot of groups of people that are considered infamous, let's just say. Really infamous. I do shows for them all the time. And they have fun, just like the other guys. So, Davidson says, they hate magic because they're dead inside. I love it. Yeah, I mean, there are weird people that really, like, magic just irks them. They don't like it. I do blame some of that on the performers, on how they introduce magic to people. I'm going to talk about that in the show. Now, here's the list that's crazy. Behind the Devil's Curtain. I'm going to do an episode on pendulums. Okay, not the pendulum that cuts you in half. I'm going to call that one Pendulums and Pits. And I'm going to have a pendulum expert come on here. We're going to do one on the Evil Eye 101. What's this say? I don't even know what my handwriting is. Holy I really don't even know what I wrote there. I am going to do an episode on ghosts and my point of view on what they are. One called Watch What You Wish For. One called The Hex Experiment. And here's my favorite one. You're going to love this one. I'm going to do an entire episode on the slavery in the Bible, Old Testament and New. A lot of people don't go that way. They don't like that that's in there. They don't want to talk about it. Or they actually change what it means. Well, I'm going to break it down. We're going to go over that. That episode's called Slaves to the System. I was waiting during the BLM movement for someone to bring that up. Still don't hear anything. I hear crickets. Crazy magic show. Okay, and then I'm going to do a show. Most likely it'll be on Behind the Devil's Curtain. It's a show that I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it without crying. I'm getting choked up thinking about doing the show. But basically, I've done magic shows for people who are going to die. And I'm hired to do the show because they're going to die. You know, like, and also I've done some shows where people ask me to do things with my magic powers. It's jaw-dropping stuff, folks. It's heartwarming and sad, and I'm going to do a whole show on it because magic as a magician means more than just a guy doing tricks sometimes. And that's going to be a show too. Bigfoot? Sean Reynolds just said, any show on Bigfoot? The answer? Absolutely! I'm going to do a whole show on just the Patterson film. Okay? That's my expertise, the Patterson film. I've been studying it for 40-some years in detail on the fact, not the fact, but some people claim that they helped out with a hoax, and we'll talk about that. So that's definitely an episode. And my theory on what Bigfoot is or was. Yeah. So let's move into the meat of my show. If you're just joining in here, I got a nice group in here tonight. Thank you, everybody, for coming on in. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. It makes a world of difference. I am at, I'm going to hit 575 probably in the next week or a few days maybe. And that's awesome. I want to hit 600 by If I could hit 600 by Monday, that would be awesome. That would be so sweet. And I think I will. So thank you, everybody. Subscribe. UFOs? Yes. I'm going to do an episode on the new information on UFOs, meaning what the Pentagon has leaked out. And I also have some information that shows that maybe that Pentagon leaked stuff wasn't real. If you look at some of the stuff at the company doing research, the UFO research that the government hired, if you follow the trail of money, they were lobbying. I should do a whole show on what lobbyists do. I don't know if people know this, but most politicians have about 70 lobbyists appointed to one guy. 70 dudes dangling carrots and bribing. Bad system, folks. Let's see here. Davidson says, a friend of mine... Yeah, see? He says it in there, like he knows somebody that does the shows for the dying people. Yeah, I've done it. I used to do a show on a regular basis of children that were basically getting ready to die. And as I'm doing the show, I would know, like, next year a lot of them aren't going to be around, and that's what it is. It's rough. But, yeah. I've got to write a book one day on just my stories about doing magic shows for private events. Because the role of as a magician... Mark right there says he's not convinced they're from other worlds. I agree with you. If they are real and they are not normal and kind of hard, I think they're us from the future. I'm gonna write a book on all my inside stories, because I am the outsider being brought into someone's home or their private catering hall for a group celebrating either a holiday or a birthday or an anniversary for their organization. And so I'm the only outsider. So it's all of them and me. So I really get to see things with a pretty... They're not fronting just for me. They're with their own people. And I'm going to write a story, a book on all the different crazy things that I've seen or been a part of in that world. For instance, how many people have been in a Hasidic Jewish guy's house? Most people have never been in their homes. I've been in their homes. Yeah. Pretty wild. Why do they hire me? I can work on holidays. I'm not Jewish. There you go. Someone said they'd read that book. Now, I have a book that I've been working on for 2-3 years. And I didn't give it a deadline to finish. Well, I kind of did. But then I got a little off kilter. Now it's happening. It's a book. Hopefully it'll be done by the end of the year. Not this year, 2021. I'm about halfway through. I've got a lot of people that ask me about this kind of stuff a lot. And I've never seen a formalized book written on the subject. But it's on the art of whammy tossing. Throwing curses 101. Whether you want to throw a curse, learn about them, learn about the legality of it. Most people never think of that. The psychology, the history. I'm writing a book on it. It's something that somebody has to do, and I think I'm the only qualified guy to pull it off. Not for the weak at heart, not for the superstitious, and it is definitely going to cross some lines for people on what is in the book. And I'm not telling anybody to try anything in there. It's buyer beware. Caveat emptor, as they say. All right. So tonight, oh my God, did I actually? I don't think I shared the photo. Well, if you follow me on Instagram, I've been posting the photo of a woman. My Instagram is Cardone Magic. If you go right now and look at it, you'll see on my stories her photo. That woman changed my life. She changed a lot of lives. And I'm going to tell my story, how I met her, and how what she did and what I learned, because it basically shaped me as an artist and who I am and what I do. And I'm going to tell the story about her. Her name is Victoria Santa Cruz. And I recommend looking her YouTube stuff up that's out there and her wiki. But before we get to that, don't look it up now. Let me tell my story and then look it up, because so I told my story on Wednesday of how I started in New York City. And it started with me leaving a Shakespeare festival with a trunk and showing up to New York City. And that's how I started my life. And in New York City, in the Hungarian pastry shop on the Upper West Side, I made a game plan. I literally wrote down, and I'm always saying that, it ain't going to happen unless you can write it down. It's the first thing you can do. It's a ritual. It's an action. You're literally taking it and putting it down. You're creating something. I wrote down my game plan of where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do, and I basically made my wishes. This is what I wish for. Short-term goals and long-term goals. And they all happened. Every single wish. Everything I ever wished for. It all came true. Down to detail that's so shocking it's hard to believe. So, right before that, I was in this Shakespeare festival, and I just graduated Carnegie Mellon University. So I'm going to start with me going to Carnegie Mellon University, which is hard to believe because I had pretty terrible grades. But Carnegie Mellon being a conservatory program, it's an audition-based program, and I'm diagnosed super duper learning disabled. I told you on the show, I rode the short bus to school for many years. It was very humbling and embarrassing at first, but it actually turned me out in a good manner. It taught me some great lessons. I have a severe learning disability in mathematics. So the way I do math is kind of cockamamie, and it's not good. But I figured out a way. So I did get into Carnegie Mellon. And the way the university works now is very different than it was then. Back then, they would just throw you out in the first year pretty easily. And they literally would say, look to your left and right, because they probably won't be there at the end of the year. And I remember my class had about 40 students, musical theater and acting. I was an acting student. And I remember people quitting really early, like within a few months. They were like, I can't handle it. And I'll tell you why. Carnegie Mellon was like the Army. It was basically an 8 a.m. in the morning till 11 p.m. at night, 6 days a week school, especially for the first few years. And that's because you had a morning warm-up class to get you ready for the day at 8 a.m. And then you would do school all day, break, and then you were either in a show or working a show, meaning you were crew. And that would go to 10, 11 o'clock at night. And then you had to do your homework, right? And it was on Saturdays. And your acting classes, I mean, our acting classes were like 4 hours long, like 4 days a week. It was nuts. It was a lot of work. Oh yeah, here you go, Davidson. Yeah, North Carolina School of the Arts. Any conservatory, you're gonna get it, which is good. It's getting you ready. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. That's kind of the theory it was there. If you don't like the criticism, out. Now, here's my thing about going to acting school. Davidson watching, you might have your opinion on this. Oh, Sky said, I rode that bus with you. There we go. We rode the short bus. So I always thought this was interesting. Carnegie Mellon had two types of people. You had the science guys, the computer science. I remember cars driving around without drivers in 1991. Okay? Carnegie Mellon used to get government contracts to build weird stuff. And I saw drones, and I saw all that stuff early on campus, 30 years before. 25 years before. Almost 30 years now. Wow. And I always thought Oh, and then there's the science guys, and then there's the fine arts building, which is the musicians, the fine artists, the visual artists, architecture, drama, what else? And the music program, yeah. So if you were in the music program and you were a violin student, right? You played the violin. How many hours of practicing scales do you think that guy did to get into Carnegie Mellon's violin program? I mean, come on. You got to be good. You had to put the time and the practice. You were probably in the high school orchestra, your local town's orchestra. You took lessons and you practiced till your fingers were bleeding. Most of the acting students at Carnegie Mellon were all good looking, and every single person in high school pretty much walked on stage, would read their lines from the play, and people were like, wow, you're great. You look good. You sound good. You're a natural actor. Then they get to Carnegie Mellon, and they're basically like, yeah, you're all right. You got some raw talent, but basically you suck. And then they start teaching you what acting really is and the amount of work it takes to make it really good. The amount of time it takes for me to learn how to do some of this hardcore sleight of hand stuff, people don't realize it's the same with pantomime, comedy, acting. It's the same. It's just not as like this here, unless you do it exactly like that, it'll fall, right? So with acting, there's nothing falling. You can suck and people won't even notice, if you look good and sound good, right? How many crappy actors are there in Hollywood, So here you are at Carnegie Mellon, and they're like, you're not good, you're not good. And I remember there was a teacher that we were like, did you meet Victoria yet? And it was like, who's that? Well, the class that Victoria taught, Victoria Santa Cruz, was called Rhythm. Rhythm 1 was your freshman year. And I'm going to tell you now what I remember from the first class. So Victoria Santa Cruz, she is Afro-Peruvian. She's African heritage in Peru. And curly hair. When I met her, she was probably 65, 70, but she looked like she was 50, okay? Her skin, perfect, beautiful skin, really nice eyes, a really just nice face. Like, I remember her face was intense, but kind of pleasant to look at. Really well dressed. And I remember we came in the class, and she had this like way of talking, kind of really powerful way of talking. And we would come in the class, and there was a ring of chairs. And I think my class had 10 students, 10 to 12 students. It was a small class. And she had a little rhythm machine, like a little beatbox that would be like, right? And I remember the first thing we did, it might have been we just clapped to music, and she was just like trying to get us to be good clappers so that it would sound like a nice tone, right? And then we did this exercise. All right, check it out. I remember this. 2 actors would run simultaneously, and I'm not going to do it in here because it's like boom, 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 right? Making like a rhythm with your feet. But it had to be perfect. Boom, 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 boom. And at some point, one of the people doing this together, it's 2 people, boom, 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 would go in the offbeat. Boom, 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 and then back in the beat. That was the first exercise. Some people were naturals at it. Some people were terrible at it. Okay? Now, she seemed pretty intense. She had really piercing eyes, a really powerful look. She had this very, she had a panache. I can't even give you the right word. And I remember within seconds of watching you do this little rhythm game, she basically was able to explain who you were in really crazy detail. I'm talking Sherlock Holmes psychic crap. Okay? Literally that good. And I remember her looking at people and them just starting to cry. I'm talking next level shaman guru stuff, okay? I remember one kid, she was like, I cannot work with you. And just like threw him out of the class for no reason that we knew. So some people didn't have to take the class. They didn't flunk, but they were just kind of like, you don't take it. And I remember she never was observed. She was tenure. She didn't graduate high school or middle school or elementary school. I think she got an honorary college degree when she was in her 40s or 50s. Mysterious. Didn't know much about her, but we knew this lady was onto something. Right? We would play rhythm games, and I'm talking like clapping games, and I'll get into some of the other things we did. And she said, never teach anybody this stuff. This is just me doing it with you, and that's it. She didn't want anybody observing it. There's no disciples teaching her way, right? It was just her. So, very mysterious. And I actually did pretty well in the class because I could play. I was a drummer. I was a self-taught drummer. I didn't read music or anything, and I was a self-taught bass player. So I had a good feel for it, and I was doing something that she was teaching, which is, I don't play music from here. I play it from here. I listen and join in. I don't count the beat out. I'm not like, is that a 4/4, a 4/3, a 3/4? Oh, let me count one. I don't do that. I just join in. And through the games, she was able to really see what part of your character was holding you down, where your ego was infusing, and it was usually an ego thing. And I'll go into some detail, but a lot of kids didn't get along with her. She would really get under people's skin. She was really rough with the African American kids, and I remember her talking about her experience in Peru being African. I think when she was a kid, she kind of got picked on. It was very racist there, from what I gather, and she was very tough on the African American kids here. I think she had some lesson to teach them. I wasn't sure about what it was, because I remember her using some really insulting words to get their, to kind of get under their skin, and she had a point to make. Okay, so here's a game that she would do. I remember her teaching a weird jump thing that was like a, right? Some sort of jump pattern like that. And there was a jump in the middle. And we're like, okay, we got it. So then, after you learn this little dance, right, then the real test would happen. She'd be like, okay, you all know the dance. Then she would bring out a giant rope, and I mean like a really big rope, and we would do jump rope with it. She'd have two kids holding it, and it was rhythmic, though. It was wah, 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 wah. It was a specific rhythm. And then she would go, all right, go do the dance in the middle while the rope's moving. What? Yeah, don't think about it. Just go do it. Do the exact same you did. Just count it. Okay, so what she's that was the test. By watching you do it, she could tell if you learned it here or here within a second. And then, if there was a problem, I mean, I don't even know where to begin with this. So, I loved the class. I was every day just like, wow, what can happen here? Like, how do we translate this to theater now, which I'll get to. So here we are doing the class. One day, me and this kid, and what was his name? His nickname was Evil, I think, but what was his real name? So we wanted to know where she lived, because we were in Pittsburgh. And we kind of followed her home one day. We saw her leaving, and we were like, let's kind of tail her. So we followed her, and she went down to Shadyside. And I remember her walking, and when she walked, she kind of held her hand. She had this really, formal walk. She always wore pants, never skirt. And I remember we were way behind her, and she did this. She stopped and went, and she saw us following her. And we were like, it just kind of went away. Another day, I remember sitting in the circle, and we were doing a game, one of her rhythm games, and I was just kind of staring at her hair. She has this little curly hairdo. And she's doing her thing, and she looked at me and went, yes, it is a wig! Guess what I was thinking? I was literally like, is that a wig? And she, right in front of everybody, I was like, oh my God. So she literally had this, and she would say, people say I have psychic powers, but I just observe. And so she literally was Sherlock Holmes, the embodiment of Sherlock Holmes. She did everything that he did. in the books. She'd look at your shoes and tell you your whole life. Okay? And then as we got to know her, I started learning about her. She had a recording career in Peru. I think her father was a musician, and she was a very famous performance artist, poet, dance choreographer in her country. And I'm like, what the heck are you doing in Pittsburgh? Teaching here. She somehow got a job teaching there, and I'm sure it was a well-paying job for her, and she got to basically retire there. It was her, older age job. So I had her the first year I had rhythm, and it was wild watching how she taught these things. I mean, it was all about this, and I'll tell you the lessons that I learned at the end here, because it literally changed how I view my magic show now. I had her our second year. I think I had her 2 or 3 times a week too, so I saw her a lot. First year, second year, third year, and then the third year I had her twice because she taught rhythm, and she taught this class called Exploration, which I heard she stopped teaching after a while, which was the same thing except with improv. And the improvs that we did were very basic. It was just like the phone rings and someone says something mean. Like really simple improvs. And again, through the games, she was able to like lock into your flaws and really go after them. And so what was she teaching? Well, one of the things I learned in that class that I use in everything I do is clever kills art. Clever is bad. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean things that are organically clever are bad, but when you're trying to be clever, not good. Here's an example of how I would work. Anytime I create a piece, whether it's a magic act, a song, a book, a play, anything. I've never written a book except for what I'm writing now, but I'm going to do it with this. The book I'm writing, I'm going to do the same approach. You create it, and then you start to eliminate things. You get rid of the extra fat, trying to leave the essence, okay? No extra fat. Guess what most of that extra fat is? The ego. The extra junk that you were trying to be clever with. It probably doesn't really need to be there. Get it out! Make it short, sweet, and to the point, right? So she kept going. She would call people Mr. Clever. She'd be like, oh, you're a Mr. Clever. And what she's saying is, using clever to solve the problem doesn't always win, It's better to be organic with it, And the other thing, and I learned this from one of my magic books, but this is what she would teach. There's a magician named, I'm getting bad with names. It's right there. Tommy Wonder. I don't know why I forgot his name. Tommy Wonder is a magician that wrote an article on Keep It Simple, Stupid. KISS, right? Everybody says, keep it simple, stupid. So his article says, well, it's not stupid to keep it simple. It is stupid to keep it simple. You should make, the phrase should be, make it simple. Make it simple implies work. It means tooling with it, not just like creating it and be done with it. How many people I know that are artists of sorts, performers, that they don't work on their craft at all? They create it and they're done. They make a piece and okay, cool, it's done. Are you kidding me? If I create a piece, it might take 10 years to finish it. I'm constantly tweaking it. That's what you do. And it's usually eliminating things, not adding things. So she was constantly talking about getting out of your head, stop using your ego, just be, which is what all these Stoic books I'm reading are too. You have to work on this stuff, but a lot of it is stop trying to infuse extra. You don't need it. Try to eliminate things. There you go. Books of Wonder. I bought them when they come out. I read them every 3-4 years. If you're a magician, Tommy Wonder's Books of Wonder. I only perform one trick that he created. I use some of his moves, but Tommy Wonder's thinking is what I was after, and that's what the book's great. Yeah. And he's very much like Victoria Santa Cruz. So here we are, Victoria Santa Cruz. I've had her now for 3 years. I do very well in the class. I basically get along with her. I love the class. I enjoy it. I'm excited to go. It's one of those times of the day where I felt free. I didn't have to, there was never homework in the class. You just showed up present, okay? You'd sit in the circle and she'd start the games. And I remember being nervous in the beginning because you don't want to fail. No one wants to fail. But what I learned is you don't fail if you trust your gut. She used to say when you're running as a little kid or as an adult down the street, skipping the cracks on a sidewalk, she's like, you don't calculate it. You don't go, oh, that's a foot, so I better jump a little more. You just do it. You don't think. You just do it. And she always said this, and it's such a great thing for all the musicians watching. She would say, you're not playing music unless you're listening to everything at the same time. A lot of musicians are just listening to themselves and the drummer or whatever, and she would always say, that's not music. Music is everything together. And when you're listening to all of it, you're able to be in it, with it. And I always thought that was the greatest thing ever to remind myself when I'm playing music is stop focusing on me and this. Listen to everything, because you might adjust how you're playing once you take in the whole thing, which is totally true. Let's go to some comments here. Oh, if you're new in here, dude, hit that subscribe button. Okay? Thank you. It helps so much. God, there's so many... Oh, bamboo sticks. Yeah, we used to... In her class, we'd clap, use rhythm sticks. We asked her why she used the beat machine and didn't have real drums. And then we found out she used to have a drummer from Peru that she brought that played an instrument where it's like a wooden box that you sit on. And he would play it like a drum, like... And, because I was like, you use a fake drum machine. I hate fake drums. And the reason is the guy was hooking up with all the college girls. So it was like conflict of interest. So she fired him and got a beat machine. So it's no hassle. So we were like, oh, okay, I get it. So comes fourth year, senior year at Carnegie Mellon. It's considered the easiest year because you're in the home stretch. And Rhythm 4 was optional. It wasn't a requirement. And I remember you had to go to her office and she would say yes or no. So I went to her office and I was like, oh, hey, Victoria, I want to do Rhythm 4. I love it. It's one of my favorite classes. I get a lot out of it. And I'd like to, I want to be in this class. And she was like, she's like, no. She's like, this is your ego. She's like, you do very well in this class. The only reason why you want to do it is your ego. I was like, that's it. You're right. I was like, you're right. I do well in this class. And it is my ego wanting to keep doing well. And I don't need to do well in this class anymore. I got it. I learned what I'm learning, and I'm just going to keep doing it. And that was it. I didn't have her class then. So, but I worked crew on a show she directed. I was around her all the time. And she changed my life. She woke me up. She tuned me a bit. She helped me adjust my tuning. She made me realize what was important and what was not. And she made me realize how much I need to trust here or here. This is a better description, down here. It's not up here, it's down here. It's a gut feeling. It's the same feeling when you get that adrenaline blast. You get that... do you ever notice when you get an adrenaline blast, you can literally feel it surging in your blood? It's like, it's such a weird feeling. I would get that feeling from that class. Life-changing. And every single person I've met that had her as a teacher, they'll either say the same thing I'm saying, or they'll hate her so much. They'll be like, I hate her because they got thrown out of the class probably. or she just said, I can't work with you, and didn't tell them why. I saw that happen. It was kind of weird. It was like, wow. It would be like she saw the devil in their eye. It was like, ain't working with you. I think she knew which types were kind of helpless cases, like you couldn't work. It was amazing. And I use all of the things I learned from her in how I can construct my magic. I'm a fan of simplicity, subtlety, but made that way. I'm a fan of keeping things... I don't need to add clever to a magic trick. This is my problem with most magic, is a lot of magicians are used to seeing magician magic, magic that was created by magicians while other magicians were hanging out with them. So what happens is they can't do the same old trick over and over again. The cups and balls, the ball appears, it disappears, appears. That's not good enough. They got to be clever. They got to add their own 2 cents. They got to make it neat and unique to their standards, and usually that means crapola, not good. Because they're showing other magicians or they're hanging out with too many magicians. One of my magic mentors, if not the only magic mentor I ever had, which I'm going to do a whole show on him, Jeff Sheridan, yeah, the way he worked, wow. Okay, his stuff was on a level that was, I don't even want to go there. That's a whole nother episode. So, let me put this here. I was going to do a quick little, oh my God, it's been an hour already. How? I feel like I just got started. It is Friday night, and I do have some friends I want to hang out with, so I'm not going to dilly-dally too much. But I do want to show you a couple things I'm going to teach on my Magic Method Level 2. One of them, I'm going to start showing my work on coin magic. When you see me doing magic up close, you will never see me use silver dollars. I only borrow quarters. I don't like it when magicians whip out silver dollars in close-up situations. On stage, I use these because they look big. And in my free time, oh my God. When I drink non-alcoholic beer, it makes me yawn. I hate it. Here, let's do some hand cam here. I do in my free time like messing with silver dollars. They're big, they're heavy, they're really good for practicing. They get my hands warmed up. And I do the coin rolls, and I do these rolls too. Well, hold on, can you see this? Yeah, there we go. Those are, that's a coin roll down. So one of the things I'm going to teach in the class are these kind of things, where you show the coin, you show your hand empty. We got 1, 2, 3, and then this one here. Like that. I'm going to be teaching stuff like that. And this one here, where you have, how many are in each hand? 2 and 2 in each hand. There's 2 here. And what's nuts is I saw, whoa, drop those. I saw, I'm dropping them now. It's funny because I can't see. Hold on, let me start this over again. I'm looking at my hands in another camera. It's very complicated. All right, here, 2 and 2. I was watching TV as a little kid, and I saw Doug Henning do this live on television with a live audience. 2 and 2. Watch. Yeah. That's another thing I'm going to teach. Not easy, lots of work, but you guys can all learn how to do it. What are the other ones I was going to do? Oh, yeah, I'm going to do roll downs and all that stuff. Maybe I will go into a little bit. I did it on my Magic Method 1, but a very popular move to teach with kids or anybody learning magic is the move called the French drop, which is the move where you take the coin in one hand and it keeps jumping back, right? Or in this situation, you throw it not there, not there, not there, not there. There it is. I might go into a little bit more detail of this kind of thing because a lot of people do it, but they don't do it well. Here's one of the ones I always liked. You have one here, right? And you take it, and you see it stays in this hand, right? But sometimes you can do it. Sometimes you can do this, watch, where you take it, and it stays, but you actually have 2. So there's 2 here, 2 here. And then the 2 Oh yeah, it turns into 4. Right? See. So, that's some of the stuff I'm going to be teaching. I like coin magic because it's actually hard to do. Your hands have to bend to the coin. Coins don't move. They're solid metal. Cards bend to your hand. And so on the show, on Magic Method 2, I'm going to teach something a lot of people want to learn how to do, and it's one of my favorite things to teach. On Magic Level 1, I taught the single card vanish. Oh, there it is. This is one of the things that a lot of people learn how to do when they're learning Magic. And you can all master this. I know a lot of little kids that got good at it. The one that's hard is where you do that, show the back of your hand empty, the front, and then you make it appear. I'm going to talk about that on Level 2. And then the other one I want to do on Magic Method Level 2 is the one where you're able to show your hand empty and produce. We'll do like 5 cards probably. I don't know how many we'll do. We'll see. And then when I do Magic Method Level 3, we'll go into the whole fan productions, which is my favorite thing in the world to do. I've been doing this now for so long now, and it's definitely one of my favorite acts to perform. You know, so, oh Jesus. So I'm going to be teaching that stuff on Magic Method Level 2. So if you're interested, go watch Level 1 right now. It's free. And I really do. I give my theory on magic tricks, how they work, why they work, what I do, my system. I have a system I follow. I have rules that I made for myself, and I stick to them. And I'm going to end on that note tonight. I'm a fan of making your own rules. There's an old saying. It's the outlaw saying. It's, I break the laws that you make, but I keep the laws that... I break the laws you keep, and I keep the laws I make. And I've always worked that way. I like making my own set of rules and sticking to them. And one of them was I made a code that I follow for Magic. The types of tricks I like and how they... Like, for instance, I don't like any extra cards in my deck. I don't use a double. I don't use a double facer, a double backer, extra cards. It's a regular deck. Almost every single trick I do, can be shuffled right before. So I made some rules that I follow. Like, I always borrow the coins. I always borrow as many things as I can. Stuff like that. That's in my Level 1. And then I teach the basics of sleight of hand technique, cards and coins. Level 2 is going to get harder. So I think I'm a fan of making a set of rules for me and sticking to them. Whether it be how I conduct my day, how I do the dishes, how I do whatever house chore I need to do. I have my own little rule. Victoria Santa Cruz is where I learned the trick. If you want to change your life, make your bed every day. That's from her. And I've had moments in my life where I make my bed every day, and I had moments in my life where I kind of slack off. Recently, I've been making my bed every day, and on a very strict schedule, and it makes a big difference. It really does. It sets the tone right for the day. It's like hitting the gong. It's like one thing's done. You start the day with a mini accomplishment that's visually satisfying, and you feel like you did something. And then the rest of the day starts. Little advice for anybody out there. Before I bounce out, I'm going to read all these comments. And also, if you're new in here, please subscribe. It's the least you can do. People that donate, and look, we get donations in here. Last weekend, we had a whole bunch come through. Whoever donates, my God, it really does go into this show and me coming up with some of this content. Especially that Behind the Devil's Curtain show. There's a lot of work in there. A lot of research and work, and I got field trips I'm going to be doing. Sponsored field trips, thanks to you guys. So yeah, if you donate or anything, God, it helps so much. Let's see here. Hey. Oh, yeah. Silly Swastika came in. That's a funny name. He got in here in the end. Yeah, the make your bed thing in the morning really works. Let's see. William says, borrowing objects to do tricks would keep you sharp as everything is different and you don't get... Yeah. Yes, true. I did a show, a quick little story before I go. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, it was a rap party for an HBO show at the writer's house. And I forget the writer's name. It's going to come to me in a second. He wrote a bunch of them. And who's the actress that plays Sarah Palin on SNL? God, I'm bad with names these days. Anywho, when I got to the gig, I opened the door and she was standing right there because she was one of the writers too. I was like, oh, hey, I know you guys. I always like when I open the door to a gig and I'm in someone's house and it's like some like celebrity that I'm familiar with. It's kind of funny because you know their work. You're like, oh, hey. That show, I basically borrowed everything in the show. I was like, all right, you ready? They're like, do you need anything? And I was like, actually, I do. I need a stack of books, a couple pieces of paper, 3 or 4 forks and spoons, and a couple quarters and change. And they're like, ooh, it was like fun for them. They all went and got all the stuff, and they got it on a tray, and then Tina Fey, that's it, yeah. And then I did the show with all those props. That's a magic show, folks. That's real magic. That's what you should go for, you know, if you're going to do magic tricks. That's how I like it. It's real. It is real. Thank you, Max. Yes. Hey, listen, I have a blast doing these. I really do. It makes me relearn all this crap I learned. And so sharing some of this info, if it's useful, awesome. If you're having fun, it makes me happy. We're living at a wacky time right now, and any little fun bit helps. And it looks like they're going to lock it down again, which means more of these, more of my ideas. I'm going to bust them out. And with all your help, your suggestions, your donations, sharing, we're going to make these shows better and better and better. And it's not just me, it's you guys. So thank you so much. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the year, and I think I can do it. I'm going to bow out. I'm going to play, well, first of all, also, Black Friday, folks. Look, Black Friday. Go to Satanic Playing Cards right now and fill out the subscription bar, because then I'll have your signature. Just kidding. It is the coolest deck of cards ever, and I'm going to be posting more pictures soon. This whole week, I'm going to be dedicating to that project. I'm going to be on the phone every day with my partner who's working on it with me. He's in Hong Kong right now. He's the artist. I'm going to be in there, and we are going to be working on those cards all week, because Friday night, I've got a Behind the Devil's Curtain episode, and the Kickstarter goes live in the morning, and I think we're going to break our number on the first day. And that's because of all the support. So, thank you. Anybody that's already subscribed, you're on there. You know, the first 100 people to buy the cards, whether you buy one deck or the 3-deck package, there's going to be 3 decks for... It's going to be 1 deck for $19. And believe me, these are nice cards. These are beautiful cards. 3 decks for $49, I believe. And then we're going to have a package. This is very limited. I think it's only going to be 50 people. If you buy the deck, there's going to be an hour tutorial. Actually, it's going to be like an hour and a half. It is an hour and a half. It's going to be a tutorial with me and the artist showing you some awesome symbolism no one will ever notice. I'm not kidding. It's worth the extra money. And whoever's in that group is going to be sworn to secrecy. And that's it. We'll never do it again. It's going to be live, non-recorded. And that's going to be one of the package deals too. We're not making lots of junk to sell. Anything that's extra is going to be me teaching. And the cards themselves. We're trying to make it card focused. And this is his other deck that he did. Look at this. Beautiful. Beautiful art. I'll see you on Sunday night with Boardgasm. And I will be on here talking all things zombie. So if you're a game nerd or a zombie freak, You don't want to miss it. And I'll see you on Sunday. Thank you, everybody. I really do like doing this, and I'm grateful for all the support. All right, everybody, over and out. Check this out.